If you have no goal and you have no direction right now, that's fine. All you need to start to do to gain that direction for your life is one, realize that it's something you create, it's not something you find. Okay, so a lot of people talk about finding passion, finding purpose, finding direction. You don't need to find anything. You just need to create. That's why I always tell people you don't need to climb the 7 highest peaks in the world. You don't need to swim to the bottom of all the oceans and touch the floor so you can find your magical life purpose. You need to create direction to take your life. Okay, that's why I talk about life vision a lot. Creating a vision for your life is going to allow you to have the direction you need to start setting goals for your life. So if your vision, for example, for your body is different than it is today, if your vision is, I want to gain 30 pounds of muscle, burn 40 pounds of fat, and I want to be able to do some type of calisthenics workout, that vision is going to be exciting for you to wake up to every day. The vision is like the Santa Claus for your life. Like on Christmas morning, it's so easy for everyone to wake up early because there's a bunch of presents. There's something waiting, there's something to look forward to. That is what a vision does for your life. It gives you direction, it gives you something to look forward to. You actually want to get out of bed to continue working on your vision. Creating life vision comes down to asking yourself questions. Literally asking yourself, to yourself, what do I want? What do I want that I don't have? And that brings us to the second thing that you need to adopt in your life, which is to stop seeing wanting more as greedy. You can be grateful for where you are and still want more. That is the way of the fulfilled human. The fulfilled human, meaning you gain fulfillment. You feel good about yourself when you think about yourself by making progress and gaining mastery. So if you are currently at a spot and you're not moving from there, you won't feel fulfilled on your day to day. The fulfillment is in the pursuit of something. The fulfillment for a human is inside of the progress. That's why we'll go start playing video games if we're not feeling fulfillment, because you make progress. That's why we'll start working on our business, working on a relationship, working on a new skill, going and playing basketball. You need to feel progress. And progress comes from mastering skills. And mastering skills comes from deciding something you want to do. So if you're going to go gain skills playing basketball, it's just because you want to get better at basketball. And you're going to ask yourself, why do I want to get better at basketball? And that's why you can create now a why, which is the third part of creating vision. Right? I said vision, which is the life you want to live. Goals, which is the things that are going to get you there. And then your why for why you try hard, why you get up every day, why you persist and endure even when it's painful or boring or hard. Your why is a very powerful tool. There's 2 books on this. One is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, and the second one is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And they talk about starting with a why. So literally asking yourself, what do I want? Why? And then who, which is the 4th step. Who already has the thing that I want? If you figure out who has the thing you want, you can figure out what skills does this person have. If you figure out what skills this person has, you can start figuring out what you need to work on day to day to start becoming like them, to start producing results like them. If you want to get good at basketball, study someone good, get a coach. If you want to get good at calisthenics or weight training, get a coach. If you want to get good at business or sales or building relationships, get a coach. That's why coaching and building courses and creating content is actually one of the most noble things you can do, even though a lot of people online talk down on it. They say, oh, course sellers, oh, coaching, info product sellers. They don't realize that passing down info in a structured manner to help people build skills is the best thing you can do for them. You're actually setting them up to win long term. So instead of selling some one-off product, like how is somebody more noble for selling a candy bar on a shelf at a gas station? Right? Selling courses is just the same thing as selling any product. You created some value because you solved some problem and you're going to help people solve that problem in their life. So buying a concert ticket for $500 is no more or less noble than selling a coaching product for $500. Anyways, back to this idea of how do you get direction for your life? How do you get vision? I said you have to ask yourself, what do you want? When you ask yourself that, you might not get an answer immediately, but that's how you think, and that's how questions work. Questions are not always to be answered immediately. A lot of questions are like planting seeds. You ask the question and then you go just continue your normal day to day. Go to work, go hang out with your friends, go play your games, go hang out, watch TV, go do whatever you do. And as you're doing that, you'll start to find answers to that question you asked. So if it's what do I want in terms of my body? What do I want in terms of my relationships? What do I want in terms of my finances? What do I want it to look like? And this is no one else. Your vision is no one else's responsibility, but your vision should not also be dictated by anybody else either. So this vision should not be your parents' vision. It shouldn't be your cousin's vision. It shouldn't be your friend's vision. If you set a goal for your life and then someone's like, that's dumb, mind them not. Continue on that goal anyway. Charlie Munger, he has a quote. He says, acquire worldly knowledge, adjust your behaviors accordingly, and if your friends have temporary discomfort with it, to hell with them. So go after what fills you up. Go after what fulfills you and go after what is going to allow you to pursue your passions, to pursue the things you want to get good at. Because that's what's going to help you not only live fulfilled and not off yourself, but it's also going to help you make the most impact. If you love the thing you do, you'll do it the most. And if you do it the most, you'll get the best. And if you get the best, you can make the most impact. So if that's content creation, go after it. If it's surfing, go after it. If it's dancing, go after it. If it's painting, you know the answer. So that is how you start to get direction for your life. You need to sit down and start Google searching your own brain. Okay? Google doesn't give you an answer until you ask it something and press enter. Your brain works the same way. You don't get answers from yourself unless you sit down and ask yourself questions. And then you're like, what do I do after I ask myself questions? Go back to your normal life. Or shoot, if you really want to think, sit still. Stare at the wall. Stare at nature. Stare at the ocean. Let your mind think. Most people ask everybody else for advice. They ask everyone, including ChatGPT, the internet, their best friend, their mom's cousin, but they forget to ask themselves questions. And that's the most important person because you know you the best. You know what's good for you the best. And so if you don't want to end up like one of those people who's in school to become a doctor, but then you go ask them, why are you becoming a doctor? And they're like, I don't know, my parents told me to. But they hate their life. Then you need to sit down and ask yourself questions. Where do I want to take my life? What do I enjoy doing? And if you don't have answers to that yet, ask the questions, because asking questions is like planting seeds. It will set a goal in your mind to answer that question. What do I want in my body? What do I want in my relationships? What do I want in my health and fitness? What do I want my business to look like, my finances to look like? What do I want to help people with? Where do I want to live? What car do I want to drive? After you start to ask yourself those, you'll be able to start creating a life vision and dream big. Remember, when you're dreaming, when you're using your imagination, be a child, right? In dream world, there is no limitations. You can want a car like that, that's $750,000, even though you don't know how you're ever gonna acquire that much money. You can want a body that's more shredded than you could ever have imagined or your entire family has ever gotten before. You can want those things because in dream world, there's no limitations. Okay, people have dreamed big and gone after them and achieved imaginable things from the test of time. That is Edison wanting a light bulb before one exists. That's Ford wanting a car before it exists. Those people are the people who push the world forward. They're the people who accomplish their dreams, are the people who dream outside of their box. This is why I say being realistic with your goals is not useful advice. Because what's realistic to the future version of you after you've upgraded yourself and upgraded your mind and upgraded your body and upgraded your friend group is not what's realistic to you today. So if you're just setting realistic goals all of the time, you're never gonna think big enough to go big enough to achieve big goals. You get it? Successful people aren't achieving big goals because they're successful or magical. Successful people achieve big goals because they set big goals before they believed they could get it. It made their mind think bigger, it made them act different, and it ultimately led to them achieving those big goals. So think bigger. There's a book on this called The Magic of Big Thinking. I'll link it in the description too. So with that being said, if you want direction for your life, start querying, if that's a word, your own brain. Start asking yourself your own questions, answering those questions, and then when you finally figure out what you want to go after it. Start, because you'll never know if you actually like a thing until you do the thing. That's why people say don't knock it till you try it. You truly do not know if you like an interest or hate an interest, whether it be cooking or dancing or snowboarding. You don't know until you start. So go start, pursue your interests, especially if you're in your 20s. This is the best time to pursue your interests. You have the lowest risk, you have the lowest amount of responsibilities. As you grow older, your risk and responsibilities just grow. So use this time to your advantage. Instead of going to the club, instead of partying, instead of hanging out all the time, instead of wasting all your time watching TV or just doing things that don't really lead you to anything new, go try new things. Literally try new things. Say yes to more things. Say maybe to more things. Most people instantly rattle off no the second somebody's like, you want to go here? No. You want to try this? No. Like, say maybe to more things. Let your mind think, like, should I go try that? Would it lead me to something new? Would it give me a new story or a new experience or new skills? That is the only way you're going to truly start to figure out what direction you want to take your life in. Remember, you're not looking to find direction. You're looking to build direction. But you can't build direction. You can't want what you don't know exists. So get out there and go figure out what exists and go try it.